Commission and potentially other commissions that we might take audio recordings of, are those then destroyed in short order? And we do not retain long-term copies of the audio, not just the written?
The audio tapes that we're speaking of are specific to the city clerk's office. So the individual department has set up their own needs with regards to the audio tapes of the commissions and all that. Those then go to the city council. And once the city council approves those, they become a permanent record. Again, audio tape is not viable long-term to save. It degrades very rapidly, as anybody knows who has a favorite tape in their car that they can no longer listen to. So I would not recommend holding audio tapes any longer than 2 years. If you, however, would like to have records of those longer, I would recommend that you refer to the city manager. The feasibility of having additional technology which would put the recording of those meetings on a digital medium. And if that's the case, then we can address those directly. They may already be recorded in that medium in some cases. However, we can address those directly at the time, which will allow us to do the same type of retention process that we do with the council meetings.
So I would like to express my interest in doing that, and I don't know if that's the case of a referral we can make tonight, a referral to staff, or if that's something we need to actually revisit those and bring those back. So whatever is the appropriate method.
I believe that by consensus, obviously it's, yes, by consensus we can refer that particular item to the city manager's office. Okay.
Thank you.
So how do we interpret what you just said? Plain English?
I'll give it my best shot. What we are, it seems like what the council wants to do by consensus is leave in place the record retention policy that we adopted at our last meeting, because it is a big improvement over what we've had in the past. It also means that as part of that policy, the DVD, the actual audio and visual recording of all council meetings, is now a permanent record and which will be kept. It means that some commission meetings which may be kept on audio tape, we are now asking the city manager to look at putting those on CDs or some other digital medium where they could be retained again as a permanent record. So that being the case, the council by consensus is, I think, coming to the conclusion there's no need to revisit our records retention policy to accommodate what you are requesting. The records retention policy we adopted last time actually assists you in doing exactly what you're trying to do, and that is to have the records available for a long period of time.
Mayor, may I also offer them my card? You guys, I'm Rod Deardon. I'm the city clerk here in Santa Clara. If you need any documents with regards to the city, you can come to our office and we'll help you find whatever we have. Let me assure you that whatever we have today will not be destroyed in the next 2 years. So you can rest assured that whatever you currently have access to, you will tomorrow or the next week or in fact next year. So I'll give you my card, and please follow up with me directly. We'll help you get to the various departments that you may need to get your information.
So we appreciate your effort to answer this. And I will, two things. We have filed a lawsuit, so we don't know how long that will take. So we don't want the 2-year limitation.
Ma'am, I'm going to interrupt you because this goes beyond the reconsideration, but I am going to call this back up under public presentations where it will fit better for the subject matter. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Mayor, may I just ask that staff, in getting back to us with that clarification, can also provide us with information as to what it would take to include in the record in a CD or whatever the medium be, documentation of things like notes and essentially what would be in a file. If we could just get that information and understanding of what that would take to include that, so it's not just the minutes of a meeting, but indeed the full documentation of a file. If we can just get a clarification of that also when it comes back.
All right, thank you. That takes us to item 7, which is the consent calendar. Items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be adopted by one motion. There's no separate discussion of the items unless requested by a member of the council, staff, or public, and if so requested, it will be considered later on the agenda. Then move to approve the consent calendar. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 10 then is public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address us on any item not on the agenda. The law does not permit council action on or extended discussion on any item not on the agenda except under special circumstances. We may briefly respond to statements made or questions posed and may ask the city manager to report back at a subsequent meeting. So now this is the opportunity, I think, to have you address us on the actual issue of Mansion Grove. So.
Okay, we have two questions. The first question is, we were not informed about this activity until the last moment. We were told that they got approval, but we found a website where it said that the approval was somewhere happened in December of 2007, but May of 2008, we were just called for a one-off meeting, and we were told that we are starting the construction for next month, and it's going to take 2 years. That gave the chance for many people not to move out because the school season was starting, and we all have families, so it was really hard for us. So from the city council, what we need is like some sort of notification, because tenants are human beings too, and we pay rent. We don't own house, but we still live in Santa Clara. We pay our taxes. So we do want notification from city council, because we didn't get any notification from city council, and we didn't get any notification from management of Mansion Group until the last moment. So can we have some sort of amendment to the rules so that in the future the tenants will be treated and responded with proper notification?
In addition, there are two things.
Thank
The letter of the law and spirit of the law. So in our letters that we have written to the city, the answer we got back was perfunctory and said all the rules seem to have been followed. But those rules are not designed for, they are designed for when you construct one house next to the other. They are not when cars, construction trucks, construction vehicles, and pedestrians, strollers, they all share same 20-foot wide road. 2 days ago, I almost walked into an excavator. There was 3 inches space between me. People have had instances where they're driving their car and the operators of the construction vehicles are not paying attention. The ditches have been left open, overnight, for weekends at a stretch. Somebody has to live there. We can't open our windows, we are locked inside our apartment, jackhammers go. There are lots of newborn babies, infants that don't sleep at night, that don't sleep during the day. And every time we try to write the management, they say, we are following all the rules. So, on paper, so when you are allowing several thousand apartment communities to come up in the city, you have to have different rules. You can't apply the rules that existed for when you're constructing a house next to another house. Biggest thing, they don't share the same entry pathway. So the city, if its model is to allow large apartment communities to come up, it has to think about these things. What is the Planning Commission doing? The criteria they applied, I don't think you did enough consideration. We are living in slum-like conditions. And this builder has a reputation of doing this to community after community. It's happening in Villa Serra community in Cupertino. They've even removed laundry services. This was done in another community in San Mateo or Burlingame. This is a builder that seems to be, doing very well in city of Santa Clara, Prometheus. Why is the city not looking at the records of the builders and expecting more from them? Because after all, you're allowing them to do business in the city. And it's we people, because of which you have companies that are here. We generate employment income, we generate tax revenue for the company, we generate rental revenue for the income, and therefore taxes coming from that to the city. We deserve better treatment. And we haven't been given that. And so far, the doors we have been knocking, we get perfunctory answers. It's not serious enough. It's time you sat up and paid attention, because after all, look at this. What kind of city are you designing? Don't you have the vision for a city?
Thank you.